Welcome back to TSP. I'm Dr. Evil. If you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button and let's get into it. So, a channel that I'm really gung-ho about called the Lapeef Network does these panel style discussions mainly dealing with the issues that the Black community is currently facing today. And it came into my recommended today a particular clip from an earlier live stream that they had, which features Anton Daniels, who I don't always agree with his approach. I don't always agree with his opinions. But I thought that this was a fantastic example of how to deal with certain situations, especially when A, somebody interrupts you, and B, when somebody is trying to use a deflection tactic masked as keep that same energy. So I want to get right into this clip and let's get right into the reaction.
Because she probably is embarrassed of her body. But with all that being said, I'm glad something, whether it's the 70 dicks, whether it's the flab and the surgery.
All right, so what is Mr. Let Go talking about here? Apparently there is this famous for nothing woman named Blac Chyna who is having some weird come to Jesus moment after having some complications with some plastic surgery that she had that her body is rejecting. So she had some surgery to get rid of it, and apparently she's known for getting around. So Mr. Let Go is saying, hey, it's awesome that regardless of whatever her motivation is, that she is making a change in her life. And we should be happy for it if only for one reason, the sake of her children.
Or whether it's her finding God. I'm just glad she's making a change because she has kids. Them kids is tired of her looking, their mama looking like a hoe. So the day your mama says, I don't want to be a whore anymore, I'm happy for the kids.
Why do we give credit to people that has profited from the dysfunction that they continue to place on the community? They extract all of the money from it, and then we supposed to give them some credit like they did something that was courageous or any better than anybody else. Why? You know, and for y'all that's speaking on the church that don't know shit about the church, why do God always got to get the leftovers?
Oh man. I did not want to interrupt this, but I just, Anton Daniels is 1,000,000% right. When you're talking about people who are religious, very often what you'll see is, I am going to avoid asking for permission first. I'm just going to ask for forgiveness later. Hey, I could do whatever the fuck I want to do, as long as I ask God, hey God, can you please forgive me? And then, Jesus died on the torture stake or cross or whatever you believe in. And now my sins are absolved. And now I get to go out the next weekend and do it all over again. And he's like, well, why does the devil get your best, but God gets the leftovers?
I said the same thing.
Why is it that when you fucked up in your life, that we gotta have a redemption story? You know what? We don't always have to hear y'all testimonies. I don't want to hear how many dicks you done sucked.
Hey, yo.
I don't want to hear how much money, because you ain't giving none of the money back that you made.
Damn sure she ain't.
Off of all of the OnlyFans content that you put out.
$240 million she claimed. She claimed that she made, was it $20 million a month her first or second year on OnlyFans. So if you multiply that by 12 months, she claims to have made in or around $240 million in a single year, showing God knows what. But now she wants to claim, I'm going to be reborn. I'm no longer Blac Chyna. I'm Angela White. Clean and crisp as snow. I'm so, Please, holy Jesus, I'm your innocent child of God. Please forget all of the things that I done because I didn't do them anymore because I'm born again.
You ain't taking Tyga's dick back out of your mouth. You ain't not being in the public eye anymore and starting to, live your life a little bit differently. Let's just call it what it is. It's a rebrand.
So does that apply to women only? Because that's
God damn it, man. See, she wants to instantly deflect. We're talking about one particular person. If you look down at the very bottom here, you'll see in their little scrolling feed on the bottom, Blac Chyna explains why she wants to be referred to as Angela White. We are talking about Blac Chyna here. So when Anton, who, against my wishes, decided he was going to retire from the panel hosting life, makes a little bit of a cameo to make a point. On the topic at hand, which is this particular woman, here we go with the deflection. No, that is not keeping the same energy. Right now, the spotlight is on this particular woman who has profited to the tune of at least $250 million off the degradation of herself and the further staining of the public image of Black people, Black women in particular. Oh, we want to make sure, does this apply to the men?
Seems very.
Listen.
Yeah, it's just about her.
This is
and my second thing, Anton,
this is the typical response.
If you give me 1 second, can you let the guy finish his motherfucking sentence, please? Sometimes you will get all of the information that you were looking for if you let the motherfucker finish. And nobody is as guilty of interrupting somebody more than me. I'm working on it, folks. I'm working on it. But holy fuck, don't interrupt to then deflect.
From a woman. They always want to make it about gender.
No, I'm asking a question just for clarification.
But I wasn't done talking.
I actually came in and
man. I'm sorry, man. Darling. I wasn't done talking.
Sweetheart.
I wasn't done talking, darling.
I'm just asking.
Now, the thing is, Anton right here, sometimes Anton flies off the handle. Not a fan of it. He does not do that this time. He reminds her of simple adult conversation etiquette. I'm not done finished speaking. He has not insulted her. He has not raised his voice. He is reminding her that she is an elder in the Black community and to comport herself as such. Obviously, it seems like she doesn't get the message.
Because you came in and
can't ask me something
y'all
in the full context of what I was
what was going on. We
because
don't
you don't know if I'm already going to answer.
Now she wants to talk about, oh, but you just injected yourself and, one person came out and we don't know what's going on and all this stuff. No, that wasn't your original problem, ma'am. You wanted to take the heat off of one of your fellow Black ladies for the sisterhood. This has nothing to do with how Anton entered the panel. This has nothing to do with how the other guy exited the panel prior to this clip's recording. You're trying to use every trick in the book to not let him make his point because you have the need to protect the sisterhood.
Question before you
I'm just asking for clarification.
Well, you can't ask a question before I finish cooking. You might like the meal that I give you before I'm done. I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm sorry, ma'am. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second,
man. I'm just asking for
clarification.
I'm sorry. Give me that.
I don't need to give any. Listen.
I'm just asking.
You can't understand what a C student is saying.
It's just a question.
I'm not really sure you need any more clarification. The fact of the matter is,
it's okay. So
Now here, Anton is just not buying the bullshit because he already know that this is a deflection tactic. Now she's trying to frame it as keep that same energy. But we know better. Because anybody that has ever heard Anton talks knows that he has more heat for men than for women. Historically speaking, if we want to add some context into this. Now, Queen Shiba, darling, has known Anton long enough. She's been on these panels often enough to know the difference, to know where he's coming from, and to understand that you don't have to question Anton keeping that same energy. He gives everybody the smoke. Usually men more than the ladies.
Are we doing that? Are we doing a power trip tonight? Anton, are you coming in with a power trip tonight? No, I'm asking.
Derail the conversation.
I'm trying to ask. That's what y'all do. You like get up here and bully people and and bully and do all this.
Guys, did you see any bullying here? Now, she went from, are you also talking about the men, to you interrupted the flow of the conversation, to you're bullying. Anton was making a point about the topic that was being discussed. In this case, the subject was a woman, so he stayed on topic. Point two, he stayed on topic. He didn't change the subject. He kept right in the flow of what they were talking about. And three, she's claiming, oh, you want to do these bullying things. I don't remember him over talking you. I don't remember him raising his voice. He didn't use any shaming language. He didn't insult you. Where's the bullying? You see, she wants to do anything to avoid answering to what the fuck Anton is talking about.
I'm just asking.
I don't care. And you know what? And Miss Shiba, your inability to be able to control yourself when a man is speaking.
Are we really going to do that?
Have
you ever heard me call anybody out of their name?
You know, I said Shiba. What did I say?
Your inability to control yourself. You know, to keep from interrupting people while they're talking and deflecting and showing your ass on a public platform seen by tens of thousands. Your inability to control yourself. Oh, you calling me out my name. And where did he do that? Again, she's being called to account for her behavior. And she needs to do anything that she can to escape the responsibility of her own actions. Even misrepresenting the words he said, never called her anything other than the name that she put as her title, Queen Shiba Darling.
No, I'm saying my inability to control. Have you ever heard
inability to be able to control yourself? Sorry, Mr. Let Go. I got it. Let me cook. Your inability to be able to control yourself when a man.
No, your inability.
While
because you come in ruling with. We know it's
together.
We're gonna mute you for a second. Because I know you like to control.
Do that. I'm a step
down. We are gonna do that. And the reason why we're gonna do that is because I watched your show, Queen Shiba. And you know what I seen on your show while you still talking? We can't hear you. We can't hear you, man.
I just want to know if you're pulling a power play. That's it.
And this ain't no power play because again, I've watched your show, Queen Shiba, and you know what I seen? You know what I seen?
Reviews. All I do is
you know
reviews.
What I seen? I'm sorry, ma'am. Can I finish my statement?
No, she's not going to.
You know what I seen?
No,
I seen you controlling the panel. You shut motherfuckers down. Yes, you do.
Give me one example.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish what I was saying.
She wants an example, not because she actually wants to hear an example, because I'm telling you guys, she already has the examples in her mind. She already knows where he's going to go. Do you know why she wants an example? Because she wants to continue to further derail the conversation away from the subject of keep that same energy. She'll do anything. You know how they say kick dogs holler, right? She's doing a whole lot of motherfucking hollering.
Because I'm not going to let a woman or a man derail me from what it is that I wanted to say.
I just asked for clarification.
Okay, well then let me finish what I'm saying, and then if you have any questions afterwards, then you can ask your question.
Damn,
the fact of the matter is,
teacher.
God is tired of getting the devil's leftovers, and then y'all keep calling it redemption. It's not a testimony. A testimony is something that you went through and you didn't fail at, and you was able to overcome as a result of your resilience and your endurance in order to be able to get to that other side.
Not because some shit.
A test is something that's not self-inflicted.
Exactly.
You can't test yourself and then call it and be an overcomer. That's not what a testimony is.
Mm-hmm.
We get up in church and we brag and we try to act like we more than what we really are, and we trying to act like the God took us through it. No, you was never supposed to be in that situation in the first place because it's self-inflicted.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we seeing is people profiting, and they stealing all of the money from the community, and they fucking on everything, and they being a bad influence, and they leading people down a bad road, and then they coming back and saying, but this is my redemption story. And then Mr. Let Go over there and giving them some flowers, saying, well, I'm just glad for the children.
But Winston, me and you are saying the same thing.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm
sorry,
in the same conversation to you as I did Miss Darling over there.
I know.
I'm not giving any.
You notice how she hit the eject button? Because she wanted to steer the conversation to make sure that you're saying the same thing to the men as you're saying to the women. That's my version of keeping that same energy. And he's saying, no. You're not going to do all of this stuff contributing to the damage to the Black community with your behavior, getting massively rich off of it with no intention of putting that money back into the Black community to repair any of the damage to the community's image that your behavior has done. No, we're not doing that. And you want to talk about your redemption story. It would be like if a paramedic stabs somebody in the chest and then delivers first aid and then calls himself a hero. It don't work like that. Some other external factor has to be the catalyst for the emergency. And then you step in or you hang in and don't let it take you down or take someone else down.
Any of these women, any props whatsoever. And if y'all get triggered and y'all can get mad, then y'all should be holding her accountable when she was calling herself Blac Chyna and was spelling the black wrong. And was spelling the China wrong of it. That's when y'all should have been giving her the smoke. We don't give flowers to dandelions. We don't give flowers to weeds. Mm-hmm. We don't start highlighting all of the great things about it. That's not what we doing. That's not what we playing out. And y'all need to stop acting like y'all the devil's playground and then want to come back when don't nobody else wants you, looking for God to give you a redemption story.
And I've been saying this, you guys already heard me say this about Scarlett Johansson, want to become the world's greatest feminist after she's aged out of Vixen. Out of that little Vixen category, where you make a ton of money on how physically attractive you are, and you start, hey, I'm starting to hit that wall. I hit that wall a little bit later than the other women, but I see that wall coming. I must transfer into super feminist. After you made all that money living life the other way. Blac Chyna ain't no different. I found God after I busted open all over the internet. I got all the fake body parts and 17 pounds of makeup on my face, acting a damn fucking fool. But when I can't get no more money, I can't get no more famous than I already am, hey, it's time to change up. And everybody is supposed to love me for it. Fuck out of here.
It's dead. It's over. Be the thing that you were supposed to be in the first place, or don't talk at all, or continue to be on the devil's playground. But pick a side. Stop being lukewarm. Stop switching sides when you feel like it's comfortable enough to rebrand. Stop stealing all of the money and then going over there and saying, okay, now I want to be the spokesperson for all of the good girls that want to change their lives. We tired of that. We only want to see the good girls that's living it, that was living it from the beginning all the way through.
Yes,
that's the people that we want to see and we want to have a conversation with. We don't want to hear the redemption story no more. That junk is dead. That's
also,
all right,
can I just respond? Yeah, I'm not sure if Anton jumped into the conversation after I'd already spoken, because you're generalizing. You're saying, why isn't women holding her accountable? I literally came on and said the exact same thing as you did. So I'm sorry.
Well, Lady Shan, you're kind of missing the point here, because everybody heard you. Everybody heard what you said. And you're right. You did say not exactly, but pretty much what Anton said. But you don't really have to defend yourself because he's not talking about you. So don't derail the conversation, please. Thanks in advance.
Also,
I said the opposite. I'd like to. Oh, go ahead.
In Anton's defense, the first thing he said in the comment section was, "That's your fault that you went to jail." So no, he did have the same smoke for men that he had for women. That was the first thing he said. When I brought up the whole men don't get to go to work, they don't get jobs, they don't get this, the first thing he said was, that's your fault. So he is kind of holding men accountable in the same way. I would hope that, she would come back up.
They know that I have the same smoke for men as I do for women, but then they want to get butthurt when it's their turn. No, it's your turn. I have the same smoke across the board. As a matter of fact, I get into way more beefs and way more smoke with the men than I do with the women. So please miss me with that non-equal accountability smoke giving nonsense that y'all talking about. I have the same smoke for men as I have for women.
I mean, what more can be said that hasn't already been said about Afghanistan? Bombed out and depleted. Anton handled that situation exactly the way that it needed to be handled. 100%. He didn't get caught up in the weeds. He didn't go following her on this expedition that she wanted him to follow her on so that she could do everything to avoid the principle of what he was saying. Brought up every tactic she could, and when none of it worked, what did she do? Anyway, in the comment section down below, I want to know your opinion on what you saw, your opinion on what Anton had to say, your opinion on how Miss Queen of Shiba, Darling, how she comported herself through that entire bit of the panel. Her decision to drop off when tactics weren't really working. Hit me with everything that you have to say about this clip down below. Thank you to the Lapeef Network for having these panels. Again, the link to the channel and the original video will be in the description. Shout out to Anton Daniels. Don't always agree with you, brother, but when I do, I'm impressed. Anyway, till next time.